Hey everyone, and welcome to 121 Movie News. We have a couple of breaking stories to talk about today. The first thing is pretty big if you're a fan of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spider-Man and Marvel's relationship came to an end very abruptly, despite what we've heard in the last few weeks. Because if you recall, Connor, we heard that if the new film broke $1 billion at the box office, which it did, the deal would be on. That was like a it was like a qualifier they had going
Yeah,
forward.
obviously this was always kind of rumor and hearsay, so that maybe that just wasn't true. Maybe it just got picked up and ran with.
Maybe, yeah. It's strange because there's not really a whole lot of information here. It just says this is from Deadline. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige won't produce any further Spider-Man films because the inability by Disney and Sony Pictures to reach new terms that would have given the former co-financing stake going forward. A dispute that's taken place over the past couple of months at the top of Disney and Sony has essentially nixed Feige and the future involvement of Marvel from the Spider-Man universe, sources said. So, yeah, basically, there's apparently two more Tom Holland-led Spider-Man films in production, it says here, and those were presumably under the idea of being in the Marvel universe up until now, essentially.
I wonder if they kind of feel like the Netflix TV shows where they kind of still will feel like they are in that universe, but they'll just never be outside referenced.
Yeah, that's kind of up to
Up to
Sony.
Sony,
Yeah.
but I mean, it would be such a drastic course correction for them to shift away from at least feeling tonally like it's there.
It's really murky as well because I mean you didn't see the last Spider-Man movie, but
It's no, but I've heard the beats.
yeah, but like that movie really paints him as like one of the new faces of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It really paints him as like taking Iron Man's legacy and
Well, yeah, I
you know
mean, that was the impression. Obviously, I've not seen Spider-Man or Avengers for that matter, but spoilers are everywhere. But for all intents and purposes, he was the new linchpin in the same way that Iron Man was from the
yeah.
start of the MCU.
So this is a bummer if you're. I mean, I enjoyed the Spider-Man movies and his role in the Marvel
Yeah,
universe.
I suspect part of being that much of a linchpin, Sony thought, well, we've got more leverage here, and tried to push for more.
I
And
think this. Well, here's the thing: there's some arrogance here from Sony, especially. I think, and I think Sony's in this weird place where they think because they've got Spider-Man, they have all this power in the deal.
yeah,
And the truth is I don't know if that's really that true in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I get why it feels like they do, but like
I
Marvel's
think.
Avengers, that entire universe has become so huge and such a guaranteed moneymaker that Spider-Man on its own does not even compare to the rest of it now.
No, I think they have as much power right now as they would ever have post,
Mm.
Far From Home and Endgame, where okay, that's the direction we want Spider-Man in this universe. So that's where they're going. Right, this is the time where we can get the most out of them.
Alternatively, Spider-Man being a part of the Marvel universe is what grossed them the highest amount of money that Spider-Man movie's ever made this summer. And you should argue that no, they should probably want to continue this because it's clearly everything's going in the right direction because of it.
I will say, when the next one comes out,
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it makes that much difference to the general public. Most of them probably won't know that it's no longer in the universe. They'll play. It won't have the same. Won't have all the characters popping in. Don't get me wrong, but it'll be the third movie. You'll have the core cast that they've still got, and it'll just be the next one to most people, I would think.
To most, I'll say I'm really hoping that next Venom movie falls off a cliff and makes no money because I have to wonder if that being a success internationally is what's actually prompted a bit of this ego, thinking, oh,
It
we can just
probably
make
helps,
we can
but
make these villain movies now and we'll
that
make all this
said,
money.
they gave Venom to Andy Serkis, didn't they? So why not?
Oh yeah, we'll see. So
I'm so into that.
a bit more information here. Again, it's all kind of fuzzy just from sources, but uh, it comes down to money. Disney asked that future Spider-Man films be a 50-50 co-financed arrangement between the studios, and there was discussions that this might extend to other films in the Spider-Man universe, meaning that Marvel were interested in, let's take Venom and make him part of the universe, just, make everything part of the connected world kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sony just turned that offer down flat, and this is again quoting directly from Deadline. I don't believe that any came back to the table to try and figure out a compromise. That was just that Sony took their ball and went home. So Yeah, it's it's funny, but it's at the same time Marvel did just get Fantastic Four and X-Men. Like they have everything but Spider-Man. So while Sony might feel powerful for a little bit, they might feel like, oh, we've really stuck it to them for the next couple of years because they were expecting
Marvel
Spider-Man.
won't feel it as much.
No, I honestly, it wouldn't surprise me that if we get another like out of nowhere story in like a month saying that they've somehow worked out a deal, it would not surprise me if that happens.
Maybe, wouldn't surprise me.
I'm not saying I expect it, but I just wouldn't be surprised.
Hypothetically, let's run with that never happens. This is the end of it. I think it matters short term for Marvel. In the next 3 years. The new phase they just
Phase
set
4,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it matters during that to an extent. They'll be on. People are expecting Spider-Man now, but going forward, once they're right, okay, we're introducing X-Men, we're introducing people. I mean, people will like Spider. Of course they do. He's famous for a reason.
The truth is, Spider-Man is the most successful thing Sony have. In fact, actually, not only was the last Spider-Man the highest-grossing Spider-Man film so far, it was the highest-grossing Sony movie so far.
Yeah, I think it finally I think Jumanji they had before that, right?
Yeah, Jumanji 2 was the highest-grossing one before. That's so weird. But Sony don't have a whole lot as a movie studio. And obviously, I saw someone speculate that this would mean, maybe the next second game won't happen. I'm like, why wouldn't it happen? Like, Sony, like... I mean, do Marvel actually own the rights to the game, so they can actually hold that back?
Disney own the game rights.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because Sony just bought Insomniac, who made the game. So I'll be curious to see, because obviously I think they were expecting to make a second one.
Yeah. So obviously Sony owned the movie rights, but Disney owned the merchandise rights, the TV rights, the game rights.
Yeah, everything else. Which is funny because even merchandise that's inspired by the movie, Disney are the ones profiting off of that still.
Yeah.
It sounds like Sony really wanted to try and keep their 100% like gross income from it. Because that's the one thing they've had up until now is that Sony pay for the movies and make the money off the movies. Feige just kind of was there to make it all connected. Even though it felt like an MCU production, it was still technically Sony financed and they were making all the money directly from the movie itself. And they seem to want to change that and make the deal bigger. Sony didn't want that, and it's just kind of fell through. So that's where we are on this. It's a bummer of news for anyone who's been enjoying these movies, anyone who enjoys Spider-Man being part of that world. It wouldn't surprise me, like I said, if in a month's time they somehow make some sort of shock last-minute deal. Or it also wouldn't surprise me if we get a Spider-Man movie, a Venom movie, maybe something else. They start to dwindle, and then Sony go crawling back.
No, I think that's much more like Sony have shown themselves to be stubborn to a fault with this license.
Mm-hmm.
See Exhibit A, Venom.
Yes.
And every other movie they've had in development that's a Spider-Man spin-off.
The Aunt May solo movie.
Exactly. Take your pick.
So what I think they may go crawling back, or if not crawling back, and I keep saying crawling, and that's not a pun intentionally, but it's working for me. I do think that there's also the chance that Sony just give up on making movies at some point and Disney buys Sony Pictures. I
don't know if they'd be allowed.
At this point, yeah, because they've already got Fox and they've bought Marvel and Pixar and everything else. Yeah, you're right.
I'm genuinely not sure they'd be allowed to buy them. I mean, they'd probably be able to buy the IP, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Back.
I imagine that's something that could happen. Sony might want to just sell it off. If they get to a point where they realise they just can't make money off of it, they'll just sell it for a ridiculous amount and be happy with themselves.
Yeah, they'll charge through the nose. And
Oh yeah, they'll probably charge as much for Spider-Man, if not more, than Disney paid for all of Marvel.
Probably. Because all of Marvel was not, relatively speaking, that big an investment on Disney's part.
No, because wasn't that less than Star Wars, if I'm right?
Yeah, it was.
It was less than $4 billion, yeah.
So again, like I said, relatively speaking.
Which is insane, because in hindsight, that Marvel deal has been way more profitable than Star Wars was.
Sure, I mean, yeah, no doubt about it.
Look at the amount of movies that have come out. Those franchises, all those franchises combined are part of the MCU. I don't know what the figures off the top of my head, but it's something like ridiculous, like over 15 billion or
more than comfortably been well worth the investment.
Yeah, and that's just the box office. That's not even bringing in merchandise and everything else and
home video sales.
Yeah. So I think Marvel will be okay. It just sucks if you're a fan. This is who it sucks for. It sucks if you're a fan.
Pretty much.
So that was the first thing we had to talk about today, and then the other thing we wanted to talk about, of course, is the announcement that there was going to be a fourth Matrix movie. And we knew this was coming to some extent. We knew that Warner Bros. Had been trying to get this up and running. And much like we're joking about Sony struggling to like get franchises going. They've got Jumanji and Spider-Man.
Hey, Jumanji was good.
I wasn't bad mouthing Jumanji.
No. I just want to make it clear that before we kind of just paint with a brush of they're struggling. But Jumanji was good.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sony as a whole aren't exactly pumping out lots of big things. I mean, admittedly, a lot of studios aren't right now, but Sony never really have. Sony's always felt like it's been struggling. Like, the desperate attempt this year to make Men in Black a franchise again.
Yeah.
And falling short spectacularly, might we add. So Matrix 4, which I assume won't be the title, because obviously even 2 and 3 weren't called that, but Matrix 4 is officially a go, and it doesn't seem to be a reboot. It's actually kind of weird, because here's the news. This is from Variety. Lana Wachowski is going to write and direct the 4th film set in the world of the Matrix, with Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss reprising their roles as Neo and Trinity respectively, which, if you're familiar with the ending of Matrix Revolutions...
Which we wouldn't blame you if you weren't, because...
Was it Revolutions
Was
it Revolutions or Revelations?
I want to say Revolution. I don't know now.
I think Revelations is right. I think I got it wrong.
Revelations?
That sounds right to me. If you're familiar with the end of that movie, this might come as a surprise because...
No, it's Revolutions.
Is it Revolution? Okay.
Right.
All right, okay. All right. Okay. I shouldn't doubt myself. You're right.
Yeah.
So spoilers for the end of the Matrix trilogy, just I'm warning you now, but... I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen these sequels, but I seem to recall Neo dying at the end, all sacrificial, Christ-like.
It was a whole breaking the cycle, probably why it's called Revolution, because, it's a cycle. Yeah. But, I again, it's been a while, because every time since that movie has come out, I've only ever watched the first one again.
Yeah. So the whole thing, because they had the Matrix Revisited, which was the big documentary with the first one, and then they called the sequels Reloaded and Revolutions. What is the bet? And the next one also starts with an RE, which means the most likely candidate right now is The Matrix Returns, right? It has to be.
Yeah, I hope not. That's cheesy and terrible, but...
The Matrix Reinvigorated.
Remixed.
There you go.
Yeah.
Warner Bros. Pictures and Village Roadshow Pictures will produce and globally distribute the film. Toby Emmerich of Warner Bros. Picture Group made the announcement today, this Tuesday. We could not be more excited to be re-entering the Matrix with Lana. Well, interesting, it's only one Wachowski. We should really make that clear. It's just the one, not both Wachowskis, said Emmerich. Lana's a true visionary, a singular and original creative filmmaker, and we are thrilled that she is writing, directing, producing the new chapter in the Matrix universe.
Such a weird sentence to describe someone who has been so traditionally paired with a sibling.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a sign that the other sibling's going to go off and do
but
thing.
what was it? Unique and visionary,
Sure.
individual and like all the whatever those buzzwords were. There, it was all like something that typically you would not describe someone whose career is defined by not working on their own.
There's another 2 writers on the script. Alexander Hemming and David Mitchell are also on the script. I assume that's not the David Mitchell of British comedy fame.
I'm 95% sure it's not.
Yeah, they're going to start production, or they're hoping to start production in early 2020. So this would probably be a 2021 release. No plot details as of yet. It's unknown if there's going to be a Morbius. Apparently, someone's speculating that the role might be recast for a younger version, which is really weird when we've got Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss in there as well. And it makes me think, like, is this set after the first 3? Is it kind of a weird reboot? Is it something where, like, the world's moved on, but like these characters are still in the Matrix or something? I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're doing with this.
Yeah, I mean, again, I hate that I'm going to say this, but I'm going to have to rewatch 2 and 3.
Oh God.
Not right away, obviously, but before this comes out, just for some context, I think. Because I remembered him dying to break the sequel, but maybe something
he did.
went wrong.
No, he definitely did. This is not. I mean,
but maybe the sequel didn't break. Maybe something went wrong. Not the cycle. Sorry.
The sequel didn't break.
Yeah.
No. He definitely. Even if it didn't, he definitely died. He was lying there dead. Yeah. Unless they retcon that, but I'm thinking, what if like his consciousness is still in the Matrix, so they can still go see him in there, so he only exists inside the Matrix.
Yeah. That, or they're taking the Halloween route. And it's ignoring 2 and 3.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be
I mean,
because
the
given
fact
their
that they're
ages,
calling it 4 here tells me maybe not, but I don't know if anyone is officially calling it 4 or if it's just the news websites.
but given their ages, time has passed because it's been 20 years. So let's say it's ignoring 2 and 3. Does that mean that we're going to set up this idea of Neo's been the one for 20 years and they've still not won the war? I mean, that could be something to do.
That I'd be much more interested in that.
Yeah. I am intrigued. Is he keeping the John Wick beard? I hope so because the man suits it.
It does, yeah. Looks good in it.
So I don't know. I mean, I like Keanu enough, and I like the first Matrix a lot. Not that I dislike. I mean, Carrie Ann Moss is fine, but Keanu is like
She's not a selling point, is she?
Keanu's Hollywood's Lord and Savior, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. The fact that he's a very good actor is irrelevant. He's glorious.
He's a fantastic human being.
He's breathtaking.
You could say that.
No, you're breathtaking. So yeah, that was the news. That was the news today. So yeah, let us know what you think of these items in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. And if you want to support everything we do here on the channel, you can head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv, where you can support us for as little as $1 per month and get some exclusives, get some early stuff, and keep all the content coming. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching movies, guys. And if you can get it, it's always nice to have diplomatic immunity.